What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. For those that are new here, my name is Eric, and behind me is my 2006 BMW M5. But today we're not gonna be working on the M5, and we're actually gonna be working on my 2017 BMW M4 competition. We're inside of my shop right now. I just got this entire place reorganized, and it is looking great. We were able to get everything moved around so we could get the E60 M5 inside the shop and still have room to work on another car. So now that we have this done, we're gonna start some mods on the F82 M4. Let's go ahead and open up the garage, check out the M4, and I'll show you guys what we're gonna be doing in today's video. If you guys have watched the videos before, you're probably wondering what is up with the outside of the shop. It looks completely different. The entire building actually got repainted, and the doors are now green, and they repainted the accent color from gray to white. I think it looks pretty good. Let me know what you guys think down below. But we have the M4 competition right here. Let's go ahead and get into the mods we're gonna do in today's video. So if you guys have watched the videos previously, you've seen us mod this M4. We've done lowering springs, front lip, new headlights, new steering wheel, and a new infotainment system inside, and we did a tune. So this thing is now ready to get its next set of upgrades, and I think you guys are gonna be super excited about what we got. I'm loving the front end look of this car. It looks super aggressive, but I think the rear end has been lacking just a little bit, so that's what we're gonna be updating in today's video. We're gonna be making some changes to this rear end so that it matches that aggressive front end. Over here, we got the mods we're gonna be doing in today's video, and I'm sure you guys can tell right away that is a massive wing, and yes, we are going to be installing a giant wing. I will tell you guys more about what that is in just 1 second. So let's go ahead and go through these mods. So right here, we have a set of GTS style taillights. These are the OLED taillights from the M4 GTS from Vland. This is a replica set, and they're really good price for the quality that you get. These are the exact same taillights that I ran on my M340i, had zero issues with them the entire time, and they look great. Right here we have a set of intakes. These are from Tactic Motorsports. This is a set of dual air intakes with new filters. These are going to improve the sound a ton. They're gonna sound absolutely insane. I cannot wait to hear these on the front of the car. And next right here we have these VRSF downpipes. I actually got these with the car when I purchased it from the old owner. So these are gonna be reinstalled on the car, and I'm super excited about these. We are gonna be able to go to the stage 2 power map with this intake and downpipe combo. One more thing we have right here is a set of carbon fiber side skirt extensions. That is that really big box right there. Those are gonna go the full length of the side skirts, and I think they're gonna look super great. And last but not least, we have this carbon fiber wing. This wing actually is a wing that I've had for a few years now. I ran it on my E92 M3, and it looks super good. I'm not sure about the wing height, but we're gonna get it mounted today, and then if we wanna raise it up, we can go ahead and design some new mounts. We're using our 3D printer over there and print those up, and then we can get them cut in metal. So I think I'm gonna get this installed, and then we're gonna be designing and 3D printing our own mounts until we get the perfect height, and then we'll send them out to get cut out of aluminum, and we'll replace these mounts that'll be on the car temporarily. But that is it. Those are the mods we're gonna be doing in today's video. I'm super excited about this one. Let's go ahead and start with the side skirt extensions. I think those are really gonna complete the carbon front lip and rear extensions that we have, and then we'll move on to the other mods after that. All right, guys, now that we got the M4 pulled in, let's go ahead and get these new side skirts opened up and take a look at them for the first time. Wow, these are packed really well. They have like a wood frame around them. I don't know if I can just slide these out of the end. There we go. Nice. These look absolutely beautiful. Perfect mirror image of one another. Now that we got these opened up, we're gonna use the supplied screws and 3M tape, lay the 3M tape down, get these screwed up in position, and we'll be pulling off the backside of the 3M tape once it's screwed up to the car, and these things should look awesome. Let's go ahead and get these test fitted on the car. All right, guys, the next thing we're gonna be installing is these GTS styled rear taillights. So we're gonna go ahead and open up the trunk, take out the trunk liner. We're gonna remove both sets of taillights, the inners and the outers, and then we'll be installing these GTS styled taillights. There is some wiring that we're gonna have to run from inside of the trunk, run it down in here so that it connects the outer taillight to the inner taillight so that they're synced when the taillight sequence is happening and going from one side to the other. They're matched up perfectly. So let's go ahead and start disassembling the inside of the trunk. All right, guys, we got the inner taillights in. They look sick. They will probably need some adjustment after. We now are working on the outer taillights, and as you guys can see, it has this extra plug on the end that actually needs to run from right here where the taillight is up into the trim, up this path, and connect into the wiring for the inner taillight. So I'm gonna be putting in these outer taillights. I'm gonna be running it behind this trim right here, and then we'll run it up underneath the trim that goes over those. So we'll be connecting all that in. We'll test the taillights, get the fitment, and then we'll be moving on to installing the wing in this trunk. All right, guys, we got the outer and the inner taillights in, and we got all the wires hooked up and zip tied up so they're out of the way. We can go ahead and shut the trunk. We're gonna check the fitment on these taillights, and we're gonna go ahead and hit the unlock button and show that startup sequence for the very first time. That is so sick. I think that looks so great, and I'm super happy with how these turned out. I'm gonna mess around with the fitment. It looks like I need to adjust this inner one just a little bit, and I think we should be good. So let me go ahead and get those adjusted, and we will move on to installing our new carbon fiber wing. All right, guys, we got the GTS taillights installed. Go ahead and start the sequence. Man, these things look so sick. That startup sequence is awesome. I think they turned out absolutely amazing, and I'm super happy with the fitment and quality of these. I've seen the OEM GTS taillights in person, and these look exactly the same. So I'm super happy with these. And now it is time to move on to the scariest mod we're doing today, which is going to be installing our new wing. So first thing we need to do is test fit and mark out where we're gonna be installing it. So I'm gonna put some tape on this upper deck lid. We can take the wing over here, get our first test fit, and see what it's gonna look like. All right, guys, we got the wing on here just set in place for a test fit, but man, does that look so sick. This is a GT4 E92 M3 wing, so the GT4 race car version of the E92 M3. This is that wing. As you guys can see, this one end plate right here is white, and it's because it was wrapped white to match my E92 M3. I'll go ahead and peel that off after we get the wing mounted on there. Man, what a transformation that makes to the rear end. I think this is gonna look so sick, and I do think it could use just a little bit higher risers, which, like I said, we're gonna be designing ourselves on the 3D printer, and we're gonna send those out to get cut out of metal. So in the future, we will be raising this thing up just a little bit, and we can actually move it forward and back with those wing risers. So not too concerned about the placement or the height. I just wanna make sure that it's straight and mounted perfectly even left to right and forward back. So we're gonna get out the caliper and the tape measure and just take a million measurements, and as soon as we're confident that this thing is centered and in the right spot, we'll go ahead and mark it out on the tape so we can make our drill holes and get this thing set in place. All right, guys, we have the wing marked out on the rear trunk. There's nothing left to do except for just to drill straight into this painted, perfect M4 trunk. I'm so nervous to do this. If we mess up any of these holes, it's not gonna be a good day. So I'm gonna go ahead and send it. I've measured 3 times, and now it's time to drill once. So hopefully we get this right on the very first try, and we send some holes straight through this trunk. Let's go ahead and get this wing on. So I have this center punch right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this right in the middle of these holes. That is actually gonna make an indent in the metal so that I can use the drill and it will go straight in the center of this hole. So I'm gonna try and get this exact as possible right in the middle of my marks. We're gonna go ahead and push down straight, and that has done it. Do that one more time. That is so scary. All right, 2 more times over here. Man, that is scary. I'm gonna go ahead and double check those marks before I drill the hole with this caliper. I have this locked in at the exact distance I need for these 2 holes, and that looks just about perfect on that side. On this side, yep, perfect as well. So we should be down to the millimeter exactly where we need to be to drill these holes. So let's go ahead and send it through the trunk. All right, guys, we're gonna start off with a super small drill bit, and then we'll work our way up to the hole size that we need. But we're gonna be drilling straight down, as straight as possible, and we're gonna try and go through all of the layers of metal in this trunk because there are multiple layers. So as we go down, we're gonna need to keep it straight, keep going all the way through so we know where this is gonna poke through on the other side. Just like that. Go ahead and check on the inside, see if we poked all the way through, and it doesn't, oh, it does look like we did right here. So that was able to come all the way through. Perfect. Next one. Yep, and that one came through as well. So on the inside of the trunk, we're actually gonna need to cut some holes through this material on the inside so that we have enough access to get a bolt and a washer through. So now that we know where those are, we can go ahead and do some drilling from the bottom side. Let's go ahead and get these next few drilled out. Take a look inside here. We'll get these poked through. So we have 1 and 2 right there, both of them poked through. So again, like I said, we're gonna need to drill some bigger holes in here just so we can get our nuts and bolts through to the backside. All right, guys, the next thing we need to do is actually take this hole saw, and we're gonna drill from the bottom and clear out these layers underneath so that there's nothing in between the top layer of metal and the bolts going in. If there's anything in between that, including dirt, dust, anything like that, as you tighten it down, it'll actually push up into the soft metal of the top layer of the trunk lid and can make indents or warp the trunk. We want this to be perfectly flat and clean underneath before we put the bolts in. So we're gonna be taking this hole saw and cutting out these holes so we have access to put our bolts up. I'm also gonna be taking this plastic and we're gonna be laying it across back here so I don't get any shavings in the trunk. And then once we're done with that, we're gonna go ahead and make our final drill holes through the top with the correct size for the bolts that we have. Let's go ahead and get this plastic set up and we'll get these holes drilled out. All right, guys, now that we got the holes drilled in the top and the bottom of the trunk, we can now feed our washers and bolts through. We're gonna try and hold the wing with one hand while we screw these in from the backside. It's usually a two-person job, but I'm here by myself late and I don't have anyone else to call. So I'm gonna try and get this thing on here for you guys so you can take a look at it. It is pretty late outside though, so after we're done, we'll probably check in tomorrow and get some shots of this thing outside. One in on this side. Let's try and get one more in on this side. Hopefully, let's get the other side. All right, so I'm kind of struggling to get some of these in. So what I'm going to do, just to give myself a little bit more wiggle room, is actually loosen these mounts on the wing, and then I'll tighten them after and kind of bring everything back together. All right, guys, just like that, we have our GT4 wing installed. This thing looks absolutely sick. I'm so excited about how it turned out. I think this wing does suit the car really well, especially in its current state. I think eventually when we get some more track style wheels, I'll go ahead and get some higher risers to let this thing sit a little bit higher and a little bit farther back. But for now, I think it fits the car absolutely perfect, and I'm so excited about it. But it has gotten pretty late outside, so I can't show it to you in the daytime just yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the trunk liner in, head home, and then I will see you guys in the morning to get some shots of this thing outside in the sun. All right, guys, it is the next day. We have the M4 out in the sun, and man, does this thing look so sick. Let me go ahead and show you guys the M4, the new wing, new side skirt extensions, and the new GTS taillights. This thing turned out absolutely sick. I think the wing height is actually pretty good. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like the low rise wing. I think with the street car look we kind of have going on, it fits the build perfectly. And I think maybe when we get some more track inspired wheels and a little bit higher risers would make sense. But right now this thing is sitting absolutely perfect and I'm so hyped on this. Let's go ahead and head back to the shop and we are going to install our new Catless downpipes and air intakes to make this thing stage 2 so the looks will match the power and sound of this thing. All right, guys, we got the M4 in the shop with the new wing, new taillights, side skirt extensions, and it is looking awesome. The next step before we start on the downpipes and intakes is actually going to be to leave this thing here overnight to let it cool off because the exhaust is super hot right now. So I don't want to be working underneath this thing and burn myself. So I'll see you guys tomorrow after we let this thing cool down. All right, guys, we got a ton of work done on the M4. We got all of the covers off, the intakes out, the charge pipes out. We now have access to the O2 sensor plugs. That is pretty much why we had to take apart this entire top end, not to get to the downpipes, but just to get to these two plugs for both upper O2 sensors. So we're gonna need to disconnect these and drop them down. So that way, when we go underneath and disconnect both downpipes, those can drop down along with it. We did also take out the intakes, and that is because we are gonna be installing those new intakes. But we really didn't need to do any of this to do the intakes. You could have just easily got that one in right there and the other one right here without really taking apart any of the charge pipes or anything like that. So if you're just doing intakes, you really just need to take off the carbon brace and then you can do both intakes pretty easily. So we're gonna move on underneath the car, get the jacks underneath and get this thing up in the air, get all of the under trays off so we can start disconnecting the exhaust from the downpipes and then get the downpipes fully removed, get the new ones installed, get everything buttoned back up. All right, guys, we just got the downpipes completely removed out from underneath the car. We've got them right here on the ground. As you guys can see, they have both O2 sensors that we drop down from the top and the ones underneath, as well as V-band clamps on both ends. And then there was 2 bolts on each side. For whatever reason, this side was an 11 mil bolt and this side was a 12 mil bolt. And then the bracket that's actually in the middle on this one was not even bolted on, so I didn't have to remove that, luckily. But we got these removed. Let's go ahead and grab the VRSF downpipes, swap the O2 sensors over, and we'll get them installed in the car. After that, we can install the intakes, and then we're gonna be tuning this car to the boot mode stage 2 tune after we get the downpipes and intakes in. That will make sure we don't have a check engine light, and then everything should run well. So as soon as we're done, have this car on the ground and all the covers back on, we'll connect up the phone and get this thing tuned to stage 2. All right, guys, we got the downpipes fully installed. Everything's buttoned up on the bottom. We can go ahead and lower the car down and get everything finished up top. And we're gonna be installing our new intake instead of the old stock ones. We'll get all of this put back together and then flash the car to the stage 2 tune. Let's go ahead and get this thing off the lift. Buttoning up everything in the engine bay. Let's go ahead and get this thing put back together. We'll get it fired up for our first cold start. All right, guys, we got the complete engine back together, including these new air intakes. I think they look great and just add a nice touch of red to the engine bay. The only thing left to do is just throw on this engine cover, and then we're gonna get a cold start up so you guys can hear this thing with the Catless downpipes. After that, we're gonna go ahead and flash the stage 2 tune, and at the same time, I'm actually gonna do a cold start delete, meaning in the tune, you stop the car from revving up high when it starts for the first time when it's cold. That way, the sound from the Catless downpipes isn't too much and my neighbors don't hate me. It will just take a little bit more time for it to warm up because it's not gonna bring the revs up. So that's something to know, but it is a way you can put on an exhaust or downpipe and make it so it doesn't have that super loud startup. Even with the stock exhaust and stock downpipes, the cold start on this is a lot louder than it just sounds normally after it's warm when you start it up. I'm gonna be turning that off, but I wanted to get one cold start before we change the tune so you guys can hear what this thing really sounds like with those Catless downpipes. Last but not least, let's go ahead and just throw on this engine cover. Just like that, we have the entire engine bay buttoned up. I'll go ahead and move the camera to the back and put a mic back there so you guys can hear this thing start up for the very first time. Man, those intakes and that exhaust sound so good. That exhaust is about 10 times louder than factory just with those Catless downpipes. Man, this thing sounds so sick. Let's go ahead and flash to the stage 2 tune, and then we'll be ready to hit the road. All right, guys, scratch that. We were gonna flash to the stage 2 tune, but I just realized that my adapter cable is actually a lightning cable, and I just upgraded to a new phone that has the USB-C, so I can't use this, and I need to order a new adapter on Amazon. It should be here tomorrow, but let's go ahead and hit the road. We may have a check engine light a little bit later from the Catless downpipes, but it still should be fine. There isn't gonna be any issues with drivability or anything like that. Let's go ahead and get this M4 out on the road and see how it feels with the new intakes and the new downpipes. All right, guys, we just got all of the parts installed on the M4. This thing sounds insane. It looks so good now. We are gonna be taking this thing up to the mountains to get some photos and videos of this thing ripping and to get a feel for the new power level since going stage 2. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and we'll be taking this thing out to do some pulls. All right, guys, it is the next day. We're back. We got the correct USB-C adapter to go ahead and tune the car, and we've done that now. We just flashed to the boot mode stage 2 tune, and everything went perfect. Car runs great, starts up, no issues. So I think we're ready to hit the road. We're gonna go ahead and pull this thing outside. We're gonna get it washed up. I'll go ahead and do some revs for you guys so you can hear it at a standstill, and then we're gonna take this thing out on the road. You guys can hear the new intakes, exhaust, and the stage 2 tune. As you guys can tell, this thing sounds absolutely insane with those Catless downpipes. This is actually the OEM burble tune right now, so I don't have any additional burbles added, and I haven't taken any away. This is just completely stock. I'm thinking about maybe turning them down just a little bit because it is pretty obnoxious with how many pops and bangs, but it does sound so good. So let's go ahead and put the camera in the car. We're gonna hit the road and get some shots of this thing ripping in the canyons. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take this thing out for a rip. We're gonna go up into one of my favorite local canyons, go do a couple pulls, and we'll see how it feels with the new stage 2 tune. So when you flash your tune, it actually resets your M drive settings. So I'm gonna have to go into M drive 1, reconfigure this how I normally have it, which is MDM, engine on Sport Plus, suspension, Sport, steering, Sport, trans in S2. And then for M drive 2, I have this in DSC off, Sport Plus, everything S3. So now we're back to normal. Wow, that has so much more power than the stage 1 tune that we were on before. Oh my gosh, that lit up the tires all the way through 3rd gear, and I wasn't even full throttle. Normally, if I really get planted in the throttle, that can happen, but I was not even full throttle, and we already were spinning the rear tires. those intakes sound so good. They make just the right amount of sucking noise, and then the blow-off noise after you let off is so good. But you can still hear the exhaust, and it's not too overpowering. All right, guys, we are here on one of my favorite back roads. Let's go ahead and do a pull through third gear. We're gonna shift down into second, go all the way through second, all the way into third, and let you guys hear this thing. It sounds so freaking good. Man, this thing is so quick now. I would be interested to get this thing on the dyno because holy crap, it has so much more power than it did before. Like, it's such a noticeable difference in the amount of power. All right, let's slow back down. We're gonna do another pull. This thing is so fast. Seriously, the stage 2 tune makes such a difference, and honestly I can feel that rear wing squatting the rear end and keeping it straight as we get into those higher speeds. I think without the rear wing it did feel a little bit squirrely at those high speeds before, but man, now this thing is so planted. Even in these turns, it is so planted. Man, this thing is quick. It is so fast in a straight line, and it feels so stable in those turns. It's honestly insane. The aero on the front and the rear, I think combined, really makes this thing squat down under those high speeds and under those aero loads. And man, it feels so great. Oh, and some of those blow-off noises really just get me so good. Growing up, I had JDM cars. I started with a Subaru. That was my first built car, so I really do love the intake and blow-off valve noises that we're getting from these intakes. Slow it back down. We ran into a little bit of traffic. There's a little bit of a tighter section up here. You guys have watched the videos before. This is my main testing road for all the cars. It's pretty bumpy and it's pretty technical, but it's a really good test of the car. It'll bottom out, it'll scrape, it'll rub, but if I can make it through that and the car feels good, then I know I'm in a good spot. I've taken a bunch of cars through this same run, and I know exactly where all the bumps and all the turns are. So once we get up here, we'll slow down and pull off so we can get some space in front of us, and we'll go ahead and do a run through this canyon, and we'll go out, we'll go up the canyon, and we'll turn around and we'll come back down, and it should be a good rip, and we'll head back to the shop after that. That partial throttle stuff, the intake sounds so good. It's almost the only thing you can hear when you just kind of partial get in the throttle and then let off, and that blow off noise is so good. I can't believe that these intakes made that big of a difference. This thing is awesome. I think right up here is where the road ends and turns into dirt, so we'll have to flip around, but Man, what a awesome road. Sun's just going down, so there's not a lot of traffic right now, which is really awesome. Kind of got to worry about on this road since it's pretty tight, but it is feeling awesome. Actually don't remember this road going so far being paved. I know it turns into dirt somewhere, but all right, I think we're at the point I probably want to turn around. All right, this is getting pretty dicey in here. I'm gonna turn around. Next spot I have that I can turn around. All right, guys, let's head down. I only saw one car kind of behind me, so I think I'm probably gonna be all right. We'll just try and keep an eye out for that guy. This is the section you really got to worry about it, so we'll probably try and clear out of here as quick as we can. There we go. That was the one guy, so I think we're probably good. There's not really many people coming up this time of night, so we can go pretty quick. Having roads like this so close to the shop and my house is actually so insane, and I'm so lucky and so grateful to have driving roads and a car like this that I can take out and just enjoy and go rip and be confident in it, that it's gonna work. It's honestly such an unreal feeling. That is the one section in there that's actually a true double wide lane. Right here is pretty good, but that section back there is wide enough for a middle lane, so I feel a lot more comfortable going that fast. And then in some of these sections where I can see if there's traffic coming like that, then I feel a little bit better. This is a super tight canyon though. Woo! Man, this thing feels so good. The mid throttle, I was worried about, with the off-the-shelf tune that the partial throttle stuff would be a little bit bad, but honestly, this off-the-shelf boot mode tune is really good. I've had some off-the-shelf tunes that really have crap mid-range, and they really only cater to foot to the floor or fully open throttle pulls, but this feels really good. Whew. This thing is so fun. All right, guys, that is pretty much gonna do it for that canyon run. That was so much fun. I can't believe how quick this thing is with the new tune, new intakes, and downpipes. Let's go ahead and head back to the shop. All right, guys, we are back. This thing is an absolute riot. It's so much fun with the Catless downpipes, intakes, and the new Stage 2 tune. It feels so awesome, but that is gonna do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. If you liked it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe so you guys don't miss another video on the F82 M4, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.